Good evening, all you lovely people. How are you all? Hello, Ishan. Hi, Akanksha. Hello, Prakhar. Hi, Gautam. Hello, Saju. कैसे हो आप सब लोग? How are you all? What's cooking? What's going on? And I hope you're all set if you are in your 12th standard. I hope that you're set for your exams. You know that your board exams are going to happen in May. That gives you ample time to study for entrances. And if you're in any time in a dilemma, or you're just actually wondering how should you go about doing it, कैसे करें, क्या करें, कैसे होगा, well, don't worry about that because I think all the students who are going to be applying for any university will be of the same dilemma. So you're not going to be alone. So you're going to be on the same board. That means जो आप face कर रहे हो वो बाकी लोग भी face कर रहे हैं, and that makes everybody at an equal advantage and an equal disadvantage. So don't worry about that. Vedant, hi. Hello, Shantanu. Hello, Stuti. How are you? Asks Prakhar. I'm absolutely 100% fine. I'm actually happier when I see you guys and I see that you're all here. I think that it's important that we meet on a regular basis for your and my sanity, and also because we benefit from each other because we get to do so much together, right? And just like a quick note to all of you, I think if you're struggling with anything right now because the times are uncertain, uh, you have my sympathies. I'm sending out love and blessings to you guys, but don't worry about it because the entire world is struggling with something or the other. So I think it's just how we grow, and when we grow, we get stronger. So on that note, let's begin with our session today. And our session for today, of course, is vocabulary. We're going to start with the first word that we're supposed to do today, which is, and I'm sharing the screen. Here it is. So the first word that we're going to do is start with the word treacherous. Now, सबसे पहला word treacherous है. Hello, Akshay. कैसे याद रखना है इस वर्ड को? Treacherous अपने आप में एक word. Hi, Yashika. How are you? Hello, Yuvika. Familiar faces. Okay, treacherous कैसे याद रखेंगे? Treacherous को याद रखेंगे traitorous से. Now, traitorous as a word, traitor, गद्दार. Okay, and this is again when let's talk about that time in your lives when अभी कुछ time पहले नाग पंचमी आई थी, right? And that नाग पंचमी thing when everybody starts wishing their friends because नागों को wish करना important है, नाग को दूध पिलाना is important apparently. So जब नाग पंचमी आई थी तो सबने अपने अपने ऐसे सांप वाले दोस्तों को wish किया था, right? Why? Because you think that those friends are not your loyal friends. You think कि वो सामने से अच्छे हैं, but when it comes to real work, then they'll actually have to prove their loyalty to you. वो भाग जाएंगे. And I know everybody will have such friends. ऐसे जरूर होंगे friends जहाँ अभी तो वो बोलेंगे yes I am with you, I am 100% there and we'll be together forever. And कुछ लोग अपने ऐसे Instagram statuses में love of my life भी डाल देते हैं, alright, जो हर महीना change होते हैं, right? And बाद में when it comes to showing your loyalty, what happens is सब पानी में. So that is what these people are. You can consider that they are treacherous. Treacherous यानी कि traitorous मतलब people who are not loyal to you, people who might just stab you in your back. That's what this GIF here, Gina is saying there's a knife in my back. Maybe some friend did it. Hello, Miss Earth. Akshay says you're so beautiful. Thank you. That's kind of you. So yeah, that's what it is. That's what treacherous will be. Traitorous is how you're going to remember this word. Meaning wise, ye hota hai disloyal. This is unfaithful. You can also think of treacherous as somebody who is unpredictably dangerous. You can think of treacherous as unpredictably dangerous. And what do I mean by that? When you say unpredictably dangerous, मतलब पता नहीं चलेगा कब दिमाग खराब हो जाए और this person will stab me in my back. You can also refer to not just people but places. You can refer treacherous as maybe rivers are treacherous, places, mountains, आप लोग, आई एम श्योर लॉट ऑफ यू माइट हैव दिस इनर अर्ज कि ओहो मैं तो बिल्कुल बनी ऑफ ये जवानी है दीवानी की तरह मैं जाऊंगा, ट्रैकिंग पे जाऊंगा, माउंटेन्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. Do you realize that at least especially in times like this, mountains become very treacherous? That means they become unpredictably dangerous. पता नहीं कहाँ पे क्या danger आ जाए. That is what treacherous is. Yes, Yuvika. That's absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. So he's a very treacherous friend. मतलब वही लव ऑफ माय लाइफ जो 1 महीने पहले था, और उसके बाद में जो भी उसने किया, दैट पर्सन वुड बी ट्रेचरस. एब्सोल्युटली मिथार्थ, आई एम श्योर आपने डीप वाटर वो चैप्टर अपने स्कूल्स में पढ़ा है. वाज इट इन 12th? आई थिंक वाज इट इन 11th or 12th? डीप वाटर, द मेन कैरेक्टर्स नेम वाज डगलस, आई थिंक. ऐसा ऑफ द टॉप ऑफ माय हेड मुझे याद आ रहा है. So I'm presuming that's the two. Yes, active Brutus. That's exactly what it is. 100% correct in terms of the essence of what this word inspires you to understand. That's absolutely correct. Treacherous, you can remember it with traitorous, you can remember it with dangerous, and anybody who is not loyal, not steadfast enough, who's unfaithful, that person is treacherous. So he's a very treacherous friend. Or he's a very, or maybe this river is a treacherous river, or that mountain's a treacherous one. Basically, every time 12th में था. That's okay, correct. So, बहुत बचपन की बात है ये. So not too old, but yeah. So yeah, that's an adjective because we're describing somebody, we're describing a noun. Friend being a noun, we're describing the noun, and we're saying कि वो कैसा friend है. We're saying that it's a treacherous friend. So you understand that adjectives are describing words. What do they describe? They describe nouns, and nouns are what? Name, place, animal, thing, emotions, quality, right? So अगर उनमें से किसी एक चीज को कोई word describe कर रहा है, तो we will consider that an adjective. So this one's an adjective, so you can use it for describing just about anything that's dangerous and unpredictably so. That was the first word we were doing. First was treacherous, and I'm going to take you to the next one. And I hope that apart from just Vedant, I'm sure everybody else would know this lady. And if not, then Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the place for you. You should really go and watch that series. It's hilarious. Now that was treacherous. I'm going to take you to the next one, which is intransigent. Now, intransigent as a word, what you need to remember from this is that if you remember from our previous classes, we said in is a negative root word. हमने याद किया था competent से, and हमने बोला competent is a positive word, and we put in with it, it becomes a negative one. Becomes incompetent, the person who would really not be interested into putting a lot of efforts. So in is a negative root word. That's what you're going to remember. And transient is another word that you can think of. Can you tell me what the meaning of transient is? Do you know what transient is? Generally speaking, when you talk of transient, हम life के लिए बहुत ये use करते हैं. This word is used very often for life as we know it. So can you tell me what transient really means? कि हम बोलते हैं कि life is a transient journey, or the experience that you have with life is transient. Can you tell me what that meaning is? Aim is also a negative root word. Absolutely yes. That is a negative root word. Aim also, in also, both of them are negatives. What is transient? Can anybody give a very random guess? We use it for life very often. Short period of time, short, okay. That's true. It's actually a very deep concept. मतलब अगर कोई ऐसे बहुत philosophical हो रहा होगा ना life को लेके, so they'll say that it's something that's so it's a very transient journey. What they mean by that is कि बहुत जल्दी बहुत ही आसानी से change होती है. Okay, transient is changing. Transient is basically कि बहुत आसानी से कोई चीज change हो जाए या बहुत ज्यादा time के लिए वो वैसी ना रहे, वो है transient. Anything that is not permanent, anything that might change in a matter of a split second. Okay, एक और word हम use करते हैं which is transitory. Okay, transient जैसा ही एक और word हम use करते हैं which is transitory. We also use this word volatile for transient. मतलब volatile जैसा भी एक word आपने कभी सुना होगा. It's also the same thing. Now volatile also means changing. Okay, ऐसा nature of something which is very very changeable. So impermanent, absolutely. Yuvika says short-lived, Prakhar, short period of time. Absolutely right. So you're all correct. That's wonderful. So when you think of transient or you think of volatile, then you can actually remember intransigent as something that will not be very changeable. Something that will not change easily. Now that can be about a situation. It can be about a person. It can be about just about anything. All right. If you're describing something जो बिल्कुल भी compromise ना करे, change ना हो, that kind of a person would be intransigent. Can you give me a more sorted or a more simple word for somebody who will not change? Maybe not change their opinion, maybe stick to their opinion, जो ज्यादा compromise ना हो, या जो बहुत टिके हुए हो. And I don't want to use this word, but अभी recently मुझे किसी ने बताया था that there's this word called addict, which was again a Hindi word. What is that? What do you understand by addict? Yeah, तो बंदा ज्यादा compromise ना करे. What do you do by that? Written behind some items, volatile substances. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Ishan. Alicia, that's absolutely right. Okay, so Mithart says stubborn. That's a very good word and a very simple one. मतलब समझने के लिए stubborn will be a word that is very useful. So intransigent, you're going to remember this as somebody who is stubborn. जो ज़्यादा जिद करे उसे हम stubborn कहते हैं. ठीक है? All right. So that's adamant. All right. Very good. Rigid. You're giving me very interesting and nice words. Rigid, stubborn. You said adamant. What else? Inflexible. All right. So you're saying intransigent can be something that's similar to dogmatic. Okay. Dogmatic, when you're specifically talking about one specific ideology, I understand that. Absolutely. Hello, Khushbu. So Kashish, Prakhar, and Alicia, everybody here has given me correct words. So very good. Stubborn, rigid, adamant, inflexible. Somebody who is a dogmatic would not really change their opinions very easily. Constant, okay. Constant is a more positive word. So intransigent again would be a person who will not change their opinions. So if you come and tell me कि मैम मैंने अपने फादर को समझाने की कोशिश करी कि that even though I scored like 50% and I tried telling him कि पापा क्लास में सबके कितने आए थे, इनफैक्ट मेरे तो सेकंड हाईएस्ट आए हैं, टॉपर के तो 52% है. What will your father tell you? Your father will give you a flying chappal, saying you don't come and teach your father about this. Okay, I know that you've not studied, तुमने बिल्कुल पढ़ाई नहीं करी, and that's the reason it's got 50%. तो चाहे तुम कितना भी कोशिश कर लो, your father will be addict. Your father will be very stubborn that I know that you've not studied. I know that you were on your phone. I know that you were always sleeping, which is a classic father, right? And that will remain the same even if you've like scored 90%. So I know that doesn't change either. So it's intransigent. It's intransigent because it's not changing. It's stubborn. It's rigid. So meaning wise, it's unchanging, implacable, uncompromising, people who will not compromise. All right. This word inexorable. Now here, the word comes from exorare as a. So exorare comes from this word. ये Latin word है. Exorare means to encourage someone, yeah, persuade someone. Now somebody who can't be encouraged or persuaded will be inexorable, right? Okay, yes. So Prakhar says that in Three Idiots, Farhan's father was transigent in his views. Yes, absolutely true. And that's, I think, pretty much every father, right? So that's how you will remember these words. Now, applicable, अभी मैं implacable का भी आपको थोड़ा सा information दे देती हूँ. Again, in was a negative root word, so you're going to remember that. Similarly, im, a negative root word. You can remember placable as placate. Can anybody tell me what placate means? Yes, so unyielding is a very good word that you've given me, so that's absolutely right. Can you tell me what is placate? Any idea? I think ये बहुत common word है. All right, if you can help me with what it means. Placate was to calm someone down, wasn't it? I'm sure करा होगा ये कभी ना कभी. Placate is to calm someone down, yeah, soothe someone down. All right. So easy to soothe. Yes, absolutely, Alicia. Very good. So if somebody is implacable, that means that person can't be calmed down, that person can't be soothed down, or that person की emotions को हम ज़्यादा change नहीं कर सकते. Less angry, less hostile. All right. Making someone less hostile. That's absolutely perfect. So implacable is that one person who will not change their emotions very easily. So again, intransigent is a person who would not change. Someone cool down. Yes. So her father tried to persuade her, but she was intransigent. हम भी कभी-कभी stubborn हो जाते हैं. ऐसी बात नहीं है. Fathers हमें कुछ बताने की कोशिश करते हैं और हम नहीं मानते. So we are intransigent. Then we'll get stubborn. In fact, the other day when I was abhi to chalo, it's been a while now. This was before the lockdown, before the corona times, before the times when things were this nasty. I was going to a mall and I was there in a mall. We passed Hamleys, all right, and Hamleys ke samne there was a little kid. Like that person must have not been more than, let's say, 5-6 years of age. And you want, and I'm seriously not kidding you guys. That kid was on the floor, like वो फैल गया. मुझे वो खरीद के दो, and वो फैल गया. And उसके parents were like, we don't know this person. The person is literally on the floor, so we don't know him. Who's this kid? And we were really like, ये चल क्या रहा है? So that is intransigent. That person was stubborn. That person was somebody who will not soothe down. All right. So that person was uncompromising on his demands for getting. He needed something, I guess, from Hamleys, and he wasn't getting one. So वो फैल के रो रहा था. And that was what intransigent would be. I'm sure sabne kiya hai. We've all done it sometime or the other. So it's an adjective clearly. Part of speech mein, it is an adjective. That means you're describing somebody or describing something, maybe a situation, maybe a person, like I'm describing this kid right now who was on the floor quite literally, or we're describing our fathers who come and give us all sorts of beating because we don't score as well. So that's that. Okay. So आजकल के बच्चे बेटा हमने भी किया है. Alicia, I'm sure we must have done it. You would have done it for a Barbie doll, so would have I. But again, blame it on the generation. That's like the easiest thing, you know. So this is the second word, intransigent for the second word. I'm going to take it to the third word now. The third word is ebullient. Now, ebullient as a word is an interesting one. How? Because if you say ebullient, you see clearly that in the mnemonic aid, you see that I've written bull. Now, this comes from this word that you see right in the middle of the word. You see this one animal hidden in it. Now, can you describe me कि bull कैसा होता है? I'm sure you must have seen जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा. You've seen that bull scene. That was the last one. How will you describe a bull? Would you describe that bull as a dull one? Would you describe a bull as an uncontrollably energetic animal? How would you describe a bull? Is my first question. Second question to you would be, कि bull jaisa, there is a beverage, all right, on the market. There's a drink that's that has bull in it, which you clearly see on the screens. When it says Red Bull, the tagline says Red Bull gives you wings. What do you understand by that? Does it really give you wings? Do you start flying? Do you start going in the air? What is it? So you would Alicia says, I would have slapped so hard. Believe me, I swear. High five on that. That kid would get it nice in the house. I'm sure घर जाके काफी पिटाई हुई होगी, है ना? So that's right. So that you guys are telling me that the bull would be an excited animal. A bull would be generally an angry and a very, very excited animal. All right. And apart from that, when you think of Red Bull, would you tell now tell me, Red Bull gives you wings would mean what does it give you? Does it give you wings like you start flying in the air? But it gives you, okay, very good. So just like Khushbu says that, and Yuvika also tells me that gives you energy. Alicia tells me that it gives you energy. So when they say wings, wings is like a euphemism. Wings is like a you can call it a symbolic term here given because it gives you energy. All right, and if it gives you energy, that means it makes you energetic. So ebullient as a word, you'd look at it and you'll be like, okay, fine. So ebullient mein bull aa raha hai. Bull is an energetic animal, or maybe you can remember it with Red Bull and say that Red Bull gives you wings. That means Red Bull gives you energy. Red Bull makes you ebullient. Red Bull makes you ebullient. So meaning wise, it's a positive word. So it gives you energy. So that means it's an energetic. The word means energetic. The word means active. It also means somebody who's very cheerful. Somebody is very happy. So when you're energetic, not because when you're very worked up, not because you're panicking, that's not what ebullient means. Ebullient is only when you're happy and excited. That is what ebullient would mean. So also please make sure that you remember the correct pronunciation. The word is not ebullient or not ebullient, it's ebullient. Go. Okay, so it's ebullient. Person sued Red Bull for 14 crores for this tagline. I know, right? I mean, that's the easiest way to earn money. We should really start doing that. That is a good thing. Shantanu says caffeine. Don't get me started on caffeine. It might have given you energy, but it has a very adverse effect on me. So don't even get me started there. Sentence wise, ebullient is like, as a child, she was an ebullient girl. Now, we would have considered that baby, that person outside of Hamleys who was, being excited about going into Hamleys. If that person were happy, then we would have considered that that boy was an ebullient boy, an ebullient boy because um, that person was happy and excited. All right. Oh, you can consider yourselves happy and excited. Agar by chance you can suppose ki chalo Goa chalte hain. Now, if imagine the time when you go to Goa now, I'm sure everybody would become ebullient, right? Because Goa, man. So that's what ebullient is. All right. You become excited, you become cheerful and very, very happy, full of energy because you're doing something you like or you love. So next time when we go to Goa, remember this word, the word ebullient. Okay? Benadryl जाएगा टेस्ट होता है. किसका? Red Bull का? Yeah, I don't think that's a good taste then. I haven't ever tried it. So anyway, so part of speech for this word ebullient is an adjective because you're describing a girl, you may be describing a boy. You can describe yourself using this word. Basically, you're describing nouns, right? So it's a describing word. That means it is ebullient. It's a positive word. We can use it in a negative sense too. No, you can't use ebullient in a negative sense, Prakhar, because it's a positive word. It's only when somebody is energetic and happy. So because it's happy, there's happiness there. Clearly, it has to be positive. Okay. All right. So that was our third word. We did ebullient as our third word, and I'm going to take you to the fourth one now. The fourth word is the word is indigence. Indigence. Now, I know that I might sound a little bit of, I don't want to say it, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं देश की गद्दार हूँ anything. ना मैं देश को का नाम मिट्टी में मिला रही हूँ or anything of that sort. But when I thought of this word indigence, the only mnemonic aid that I could really fathom was Indian gentry. Now, when you say Indian gentry, clearly, if you think of all the movies that have portrayed Indian gentry, whether it's Slumdog Millionaire, or if you can think of any other foreign movie or a movie that's of foreign language, you'll see that India has always been a dirty country, right? A poor country, or people living in slums and people living in all sorts of unhygienic and unhealthy situations. So I thought I might as well just use that to our credit and think of indigence as something that comes or sounds similar to the Indian gentry that we see in foreign movies, especially. Gully Boy, if you remember, the entire movie was about how it looks like half of Mumbai or more of Mumbai is pretty much poor. So indigence is how you Lagan, absolutely. Lagan bhi, see, Yuvika has already passed the judgment. It's not fair, ma'am. No, no, no. I don't buy that. But unfortunately, that should help. Any BBC documentary, see, Ishan feels it. He knows what I'm talking about. So if you ever go through anything that is portraying India, will always be, poor and sad and all of that, right? Kshitij says, I hope you guys crack every exam. You all are targeting. Shreya ma'am's a fabulous teacher. She taught me last year and I'm in symbiosis. Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Kshitij. That's quite some words. Thank you so much. I mean, if only I were allowed to cry in front of YouTube live audience, but thank you. That's very sweet of you. And I hope that you have a very good future ahead of you. Okay, so hi Tarishi, how are you? So, as भी आ गए, wow, good. So, indigence is exactly that. Indian gentry को जैसे भी आप समझ सकते हो, याद रख सकते हो. So, you'll always see that Indian gentry lacks money. Indian gentry is poor. So indigence would be poverty. Indigence would be a lack of money. It'll be penury. It means when you are at a shortage of money, when you're totally broke, which I'm sure everybody at this point will be, all right, because कहाँ जा रहे हैं बाहर जो हमें पापा पैसे देंगे मम्मी पैसे देंगी. So clearly if you are broke, if you don't have money enough to buy yourself anything right now, then you are facing indigence. Okay, that is what indigence is: poverty, lack of money, penury. So he worked hard to relieve his indigence. I'm sure everybody here is working hard so that they get a good career, so that ultimately they don't have to face indigence, and that's the whole point, right? So everybody is working towards money so that they don't lack money in future. That's what indigence is, when you are lacking money, when you don't have enough money. Okay, so Indian gentry se aap yaad rakhoge, and don't judge me for it. Now that was the fourth word. I'm going to take you to the last word for the day, which is invective. So now invective ko kaise yaad rakhna hai? You will see that the first word will be insult for you, and invective ki jagah jo last half hai usko aap abusive yaad rakhoge. So invective is insulting and abusive. That's how you're going to remember invective: insulting and abusive. How are you going to remember it? Basically, jab again, if we let's think about how you guys were probably in your head giving all sorts of insults and all sorts of abuses to this kid that I was talking about outside of families. Now, if that were your kid, matlab abhi to you guys are like what? But छोटे छोटे saplings हो आप लोग पौधे. But if you were to have a kid like that, and that kid of yours was just completely on the floor and saying, "Bhai, मुझे ये दिला दो," and that person's crying like crazy and the entire mall's looking at that kid, what will happen to you is that you will start in your head start bringing up all sorts of insults for your kid, all sorts of abusive languages for your kid. And that is what invective is. When you have insults in your head, when you have some sort of things that might किसी को belittle करने के लिए, abase करने के लिए, that's that. Given sentence is a woman shouted. Oh, yes, yes, yes. A woman. That's a woman. So that's what invective is. Insulting and abusive language is invective. So an insult, an abuse, vituperation. Now vituperation is also something like जब आप किसी को बुरा भला कह रहे हो, all right? Think of how in your political scenarios you always see that the opposing party is throwing invectives at the ruling party, and vice versa. It always keeps happening. People say something like Papu Sena, and then yahan se andhe bhakt, and all sorts of things keep happening. I mean, it's almost like there's an ex-girlfriend and ex-boyfriend fighting. You don't always realize that that's something that's happening within democracy. I think politics is all about that. It's just like an ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend fighting with each other. But that's the kind of language they are using. It's obviously belittling. It's obviously damaging somebody's reputation. So a language that damages reputation, okay, a language that damages reputation, or targets somebody's reputation and tries to belittle that person, that is what invectives are. So a woman shouted racist invectives at the family. That means a woman shouted racist, abusive language, racist insults at the family, and invectives here becomes a noun because it's a thing, right? So defaming, absolutely mitharth. And Unes ne apna sabse favorite word, which he never shies away from using, has he's used that because he's a huge fan of Shashi Tharoor. So that's that. That was our fifth word. Now we'll start with the first word. Can you tell me what was the very first word that we did? What was the mnemonic and what was the meaning of it? We started off with the first word, which was something about Nag Panchami, something about हमारे दोस्त जो नाग होते हैं, जो पीछे से छुरी मारते हैं, apparently what they said. या वो love of my life जो हर महीने change होता है. Do you remember what word we did for that specific example? What was that one little word we did? Was the first word that we're supposed to do. We started off with Nag Panchami and everything, and we thought about that word as treacherous. Remember? So treacherous was, and we said that we remembered it using traitorous. Now traitorous, and absolutely, and it was dangerous. It was unpredictably so, right? Dangerous, but in an unpredictable fashion. You're right, absolutely. Mithat, Stuti, Yuvika, Chavi, Ishan, Prakhar, Shantanu, Alicia, Khushi, everybody, you're all right. Very, very good. So yes, unpredictably dangerous. Prakhar also says that Pragati, hi. And Unez also tells us that it's treacherous. So dangerous, disloyal, unfaithful, somebody who will stab you in the back. We remembered it using Gina ka gift. So that's what. That was the first word. Then we talked about the second word, which was intransigent. Now, intransigent के लिए हमने एक word use किया. That word was basically about life. बहुत हम often अपनी philosophies में life में ये बोल देते हैं कि यार life बहुत ही changeable है. Life is short-lived, not permanent, and transitory. वो change कभी भी जा सकती है, कभी भी change हो सकती है. And then we remembered intransigent as in, which was a negative root word, and transient, which means changeable. So intransigent was something that will not change. So unchangeable, very good. And you guys told me also some very simple words that we remembered from that slide. You guys told me about words like stubborn, adamant, very good. And you told me about somebody who's rigid, inflexible, dogmatic. From the slide, we remembered words like implacable. We remembered words like inexorable, uncompromising. These were all words that we did for the word intransigent. Then we talked about the word ebullient. All right, very good, you guys. You're all absolutely correct. Khushi, Ishan, Vedant, Prakhar, Chavi, Unez, Shantanu, Khushbu. Very good, wonderful. So I'm happy that you guys are still with me on this and are on the same page as I am. Good. Then we did ebullient. We remembered ebullient as one animal, bull, which is an energetic animal, because we remember how जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा में सब भाग रहे थे उससे because they were so energetic. Or we could remember it with the drink Red Bull. Now Red Bull again is a drink that gives you wings. Now when we say wings, we mean energy. And when we said energy, we said that Red Bull gives you energy. That means Red Bull makes you energetic. That means it makes you ebullient. And I also told you to make sure that you stick to the pronunciation. The correct pronunciation is ebullient, not ebullient, not ebullient. Ebullient, okay? And yes, the meanings were Yuvika, active, Prakhar says energetic and spry, Ishan, Stuti, Alicia, Shantanu, Unez, Mitar. You're all absolutely correct. You are all saying energetic, spry, active. And we talked about how people should actually also be happy in order for us to use this word. So you have to be cheerful and happy when you're using, exhilarated when you're using the word ebullient. Hi, Lavanya, how are you? A tad bit late, beta. But nonetheless, then we talked about the next word. Which was the next word? The word we did was indigence. Yes. And indigence के लिए हमने कैसे याद किया था? Indian gentry से. Now, Indian gentry is poor, according to BBC documentaries and a lot of movies. So Indian gentry is poor. That means Indian gentry has indigence. Indian gentry faces poverty, lack of money, penury. So Indian gentry faces indigence. That was our word. This was our fourth word. And fifth, जैसे हम अभी कर ही रहे थे, invective. Now invective is insulting plus abusive. And then anything that's insulting, anything that belittles the other person's image or damages somebody's reputation, that is what invectives do. So invectives are insults and abusive languages. That was all for your session for today, all of you. Take care of yourselves. I hope this was helpful and I hope to see you next time, which is day after tomorrow. You have another session tomorrow with Ashish sir. Then I'll see you day after tomorrow, which is again at 9 on Friday. Until then, if there's anything you wish to talk to me about, you can always tell me on the comment section and I will read it and reply to you. And I hope that you always stay as energetic and ebullient as you are right now. And you have a very good night, all of you. Take care of yourselves. And also stay good, be safe, take care, stay hydrated. Like, share, and subscribe the YouTube channel of Pratham, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.